Yeah, if I had to summarize that grand finals, I think ouch would be the correct word. Vitality absolutely fucking pelted Falcons in the ESL Pro League Season 22 grand finals today. It was a 3-0 show. It was over before you could blink. And of course, Dust2 had a bit of embarrassing Falcon shenanigans on the way out the door. Vitality, they have won a trophy for the first time in this second season of 2025. They've made top 4 at every event they've attended. The question on everyone's mind, is the era still intact? And the answer is, of course, obviously yes. So let's go ahead and start dissecting this homicide scene and see if we can figure out why Vitality had to kill them this bad. If you guys enjoyed my coverage of ESL Pro League, you can show me by leaving a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel already, help me 10k subs by the end of the year, and lastly, before we get started, I would like to thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Skins Monkey, a CS2 trading website. You put in the skins that you want to trade, you select what you want, you use my code LionHeartZ for up to $5 off, or click the top link in the description, and boom, new drip.
Nice.
You can also use my code for a 35% deposit bonus if you want to buy with real money. And they have a free section with cool giveaways. So check the top link in the description, use my code to buy 15 Dragon Lores to let them know I sent you their way, and thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. So, some of you might be wondering, where is the analysis of the third place decider between MOUZ and Faze? Anyway, so Vitality and Falcons started off the grand final on Inferno. No, but seriously, I've talked about this in the past. I already don't really like third place deciders. I don't think they're very interesting to cover on the channel. They're still 100% better than show matches in terms of raw entertainment, but in terms of coverage, I just can't really bring myself to care. And this one is especially hard to care about because it's a dead lineup for Faze, and the VRS implications just don't matter. Both these teams are already in the major. All these VRS points they might have earned or lost are for next season, so I don't care. We're just gonna skim past it. If that bothers you, write a comment about it. As I was saying, Vitality and Falcons kicked things off on Inferno, and this was the closest game of the series by far, ending with a 13-10 scoreline with Vitality taking the series lead at 1-0. I guess the first place to start is Kioske, who this is his first Tier 1 LAN final. At least on Inferno, he was okay. He ends the game with a 14-17 scoreline. Definitely not the same level of star output he showed throughout the rest of the tournament, and this was really the high point. He would go downhill on both Train and Dust2 especially, and overall have a pretty meager first showing. But granted, he's playing one of the best of 5 teams to ever play Counter-Strike, and Vitality played a roundly excellent grand finals from top to bottom. On Inferno, it was Flamesy who had an absolutely crazy pop-off with 25 kills and 1.71 rating. Rob's right behind him with 17 and a 1.3. Zyro with just, a stock standard 12 and 8. Probably the scariest part to me is that this finals looked like Vitality were able to remember what they used to do throughout the entirety of the first season. They looked supremely comfortable. Every single player had massive impact. The weakest player for the entire series was Apex, who still turned in a positive performance with a 0.96 rating. There's a very real possibility that this win at EPL is just solidifies whatever shakiness Vitality may have been feeling since the comeback from the player break, and they might just lock in this run to the Budapest Major. Obviously that remains to be seen, but they were already at worst the second best team in the world, and this win definitely means they're much more in the conversation of fighting spirit for that top 1 spot. Anyways, the other thing to point out is that this was kind of a throwback Nico Munnessy carry job. They both played fantastic throughout this series. It was just really everyone else on here said Spirit. Oh, Freudian slip. Anyways, everyone on Falcons that let them down. Ixan Tessus, just not very good. Moments of impact for Tessus for sure, but otherwise not that good in terms of volume. Kioske, he struggled. The first half of Inferno was very back and forth. We would grind to a 6-6 scoreline heading into the second. The Vitality CT side was doing very well at managing Falcons in the full buy rounds, but Falcons made their jobs a little easier by winning a pistol round for once in their life, so they were able to capture the early game momentum and take a 3-0 lead before Vitality could get on the board. And even though Vitality would go on to win 6 of the next 7 rounds, Falcons peppered in those 3 extra round wins to keep us tied. The thing that let Falcons down in the second half was losing that second half pistol round, as the pistol round for the CT side of Inferno might be one of the most important round wins in the entire game, because it can already be so difficult to generate CT momentum in the first place, because as soon as you lose bomb sites, you have to opt for that save. The T's can just run off round after round after round, which is what Vitality did, winning the first 5 straight rounds of the second half, before Tessus would break things open with an amazing 1v2 clutch. Now, you could argue it shouldn't have gone there in the first place after Munnessy opens up the round with a great double kill on Banana, but such is life with the Falcons. I think Munnessy chose to linger far too long, double scoping down Banana after getting those first 2 kills, I think he could have equally just fallen back and held a different angle, or at least had someone there to more accurately wash behind him as he gets caught off guard by the half-wall boost from Flamesy and goes down. Unfortunately, that opens the door for Kixan to fall on his sword without getting a single pick, giving the T's the window into the bomb site. However, luckily, TeSeS finds Rops on the lurk rotating over from A to B, meaning that there's only 2 T's left on the site with the bomb. Nico's already far forward, separated from TeSeS, and tries to work around the margins of these smokes CT and Church while he waits for his teammate to get there. Eventually, he does take a peek from the top of Church on the coffins and does go down, leaving TeSeS to navigate with 2 very low health players in Mezzy and Flames. The molly on the oranges takes care of Mezzy, allowing him to push up and clear Banana and eventually go on to win the round, fending off match point at least for a little bit longer. Now, there was one hell of a scare on the very next round, as Apex nearly pulled off an insane 1v4 clutch that would have got them to that match point. Along the way, though, I want to highlight some cool utility. From alt mid, stand up against this little half wall, aim at this piece of the window, and then jump throw. That's going to be for a top arch smoke. He's going to walk forward, align himself with the edge of this garage door, look over at apartments, and line up here for an arched flash, and then up here at the top of the doorway for a flash that blinds players at the front of A site as well as in pit. Really cool set of utility for kind of a fast boiler A split kind of execute. This would be really good for pistol rounds especially, but any kind of light, fast A push, this set of utility would be really good. So if you're someone out there who likes to throw a lot of utility, put this one in the back pocket. This is a cool setup from Apex. Unfortunately, Vitality get meat grinded by the Falcons players. It comes down to just Apex and Zyro in a 2v4. Apex is going to pick up the bomb, rotate around the T-stairs. He's going to drop into Mexico and throw yet another top arch smoke. This is a cool one. I throw this one myself as well, and then work his way over to apartments. Zyro goes through mid to try and find some space, but he goes down, leaving Apex in a true 1v4. He finds Kiosuke below truck and sits him down, managed to get past the player under balcony and get the plant down on site. Now, TeSeS, this is just straight up wrong. TeSeS pushes ahead without teammates backing him up. He jumps up on the truck, not knowing where the bomb is planting, giving Apex a pretty free pick after he smokes Moto. And I love how Apex plays around the smoke here. The reposition in the graveyard is really smart because it's a bit of an off angle. Most teams would assume that you tucked into the back of site or went to pit, maybe tried to go to apartments, but graveyard is oftentimes the unchecked position and gives him a chance to try and isolate some 1v1s, which he does as he's able to take out Kixan, but MOUZ is just a little too quick with the omp and he misses the spray transfer and falls just short of a fantastic clutch win. So off the back of that momentum, a great 3K from MOUZ on the A side, a save from Vitality later, we're now at a 10-11 scoreline. Vitality are on a very slim buy, Galils, not that many nades, a few AKs, nowhere near everything they would want for this kind of round. Even worse, if they lose, it's a save. So not only is this an 11th round potentially for Falcons, it might even be a 12th, a lead, and match point. So, what do you do in this situation if you're Apex? Where do you go? What deep depths of knowledge, strategic excellence, IGL magic do you dig for in this moment? Of course you just rush B. A stock, standard, delayed B hit, dodge the nades, then propel yourself forward with intensity. Now I will point out that MOUZ is hard holding this angle around the half wall, and he appears to want to shoot as he moves away, but either doesn't or quick switches too fast. Something happens here and MOUZ doesn't take a shot that would have netted him a kill. I've seen him make this shot hundreds of times. I can only assume that he just quick switched a little too early and biffed the shot, which is an unfortunate mechanical error because Flamesy is going hard in the paint all the way into a double kill entry. m0NESY and Kixan fall, the site is open, the bomb goes down, Mezzy picks up the op and sits down a pick of his own, and the Falcons must run. They must run quickly for this round is over. Vitality take the win and the series lead 1-0 off the back of a great lay A hit in the final round, a 3v3 post plant that they managed to play perfectly as we head into train. And through the first part of the first half, I thought this looked... Ellie, I'm trying to work here. Jesus, what does Amanda do? I'm a content creator. What am I supposed to do? Strike my dog with lightning? That's topical. Anyways, it looked much more competitive out the gate. Falcons lost yet another pistol round, but the first gun round of the half, they won pretty succinctly and managed to flip that into 3 straight, really controlling the economic advantage over Vitality. The unfortunate reality is that it is still T-side train, so once Vitality got on the board, they really ran away with momentum for the rest of the half. Despite some good openings from the Falcons, like here on this very first round the Vitality would win, it's a late B hit, Rops falls without a single pick, but Apex right behind him goes for a double kill. Flamesy right behind him gets a double kill as well as soon as Apex gets traded out, leaving MOUZ in a 1v2 that he just has to slunk away from and save. And Vitality pretty much never looked back in this game. They would go on to win 9 of the next 10 rounds before Falcons could even sniff one on the board. We're well into the second half. Falcons are looking to make that CT side comeback because it's trained, but unfortunately what burned them at the very end was just a lack of defense against low buy situations once again, as Vitality broke through for their match point round with just a couple of Galils, low utility, and a few AKs. I love that Apex decided to call this round really slow and wait out Falcons' utility as late as possible. It comes down into just a 40-second A split. Flamesy comes out A main like a goddamn missile, gets the opening pick in front of the E-box. MOUZ doing his best to keep things close, takes a pick on Flamesy around the bomb train not long after, but then Apex and Mezzy slammed the door shut on the round with 3 kills between the two of them, leaving Nico to wonder what the fuck just happened. And then the round that sealed the game was more or less identical, just from an even worse economic spawn for Vitality, all Tech 9s and 1 Hero AK on the back of Zyro, and they're going to do literally the same thing. A late sub-minute left in the round A hit, where Flamesy's going to shoot out like a missile, he's going to get an entry, Falcons are going to trade back 2 for 1, but Zyro's going to keep it close with a pick of his own, making it 3v3 with bomb site control. But Apex is totally unknown, flanking around through Ivy. Rops pushes through the Z-smoke and catches a pick totally unawares, allowing Apex to activate a little bit faster and seal the deal through Ivy, giving them a dominant 2-0 series lead, heading into their titular, classic, dominant map in Dust 2. Now maybe there was a world that Falcons could win on Dust 2 and make the series somewhat competitive, but halfway through the first half, there was no fucking shot that was going to happen. Vitality would take a 10-2 first half lead on their T side, which all but sealed the deal. Falcons, they kind of flailed at a little bit of a comeback on their own T side in the second half, but we're all here for one thing and one thing only, and that's that Nico did it again. Another Nico shot has hit the timeline. Let's take a look. 10-5 scoreline. Falcons have won a couple rounds in a row. They're starting to build this up to maybe there's a ghost of a comeback here. It'll come down to a late cat split. Zyro's going to take a very weird off angle to get ahead of the smoke wall up on top of the boxes. A really cool spot to sit. You're definitely going to go down with the ship, but Zyro manages to take 2 before that even happens. But the net result is still in favor of the Falcons as they get control of the bomb site in a 3v3 post-plant situation. And then we cut to Nico, who has been lurking in B-tunnels this entire time. And there's Rops going through mid to catwalk. They barely miss each other, peeking into lower on a bit of CS timing, but Rops moves on, goes to catwalk, Nico keeps checking his back, and then the moment of disaster, Nico looks back. Oh hey, there's Rops. Let me just line this up real quick. And oh no. Oh no. Oh god, Rops got the kill on MOUZ. Okay. Well, at least the bomb timer's really low, guys. They won't be able to get the defuse, right? Right? Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, rewind. Give it to me again. Come on. Alright, slow motion. Zoom in. Run the tape. Oh, that's ugly. Oh, that's real bad. That is real rough, man. It's Nico. It's Nico. One of the best players of all time. He's hit this shot tens of thousands of times in his life. And just right now, when his team really needed it, nerves, miss, ugly miss. You know, run again. Play it again. Oh, man. Oh, God. My Discord was on fire when this happened, by the way. Oh, it's so unlucky. He's never beaten the allegations. He's such a good player, man, but God, is he fucking cursed. You may find this hard to believe, but Falcons didn't win another round after that experience, and Vitality closed it out 13-5 to win the series and ESL Pro League, meaning they're back-to-back Pro League winners. Rops now has 5 Pro League titles in his career, which is insane. Yeah, Vitality, they're back. This looked like old Vitality. This looked like prime Vitality from the beginning of the year. They were just so dominant from head to toe. Every single aspect was just unmovable. Zyro was just incredible. And even if you look at his series stats, he still has like a 1.07 rating, but he has like a plus 20 kill differential. He just got 1 kill around and didn't die. That is Zyro. For the Falcons, I mean, it's Kyosuke's first big grand final. He was either going to hit the ground running or have a game like this. It's experience. He'll get better. I'm not that worried about it. Fair play and a massive amount of respect for Nico for doing the exit interview after that just unfortunate set of circumstances on Dust 2. He was asked about that shot. He owned up to it. He gave a pretty candid interview about it. That is good class from Nico. He could have been defensive. He could have said no to the interview. They could have foisted Tessus out there or something. But he's the captain of that team, and he stepped up, he did the interview, and I respect that. Anyways, not much more to say about this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of content, you should be leaving a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and already take us by the end of the year. Thank you guys, Mikey, for sponsoring this video. Check the go turn their website. That's when I sent you their way. Thank you guys, Mikey. Shout out to our channel members: JesseTiv, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PGR, B1Gates, Cody Foxworthy, Just I'm Flash, Makes Only White, Rowdy, LBKcs, Snax Enjoyer, Crunchywater, Zero2CS, drudenae, chron, Gano, Zyro, Clyde Mead, Devvrat Singh. If you too want to become a channel member, do so. Link down below. If I want to make videos, because the world of community, go towards YouTube. Bye.